In a previous video I showed you how to pressure can bear meat. In this video we'll show you how to take the fat trimmings and render it into lard. While removing the excess fat from the bear meat, you'll notice that at room temperature it becomes very soft and will even begin to melt in your hand. So the first step is to place it in a bowl and set that bowl in the fridge for a few hours so that it can firm up. The next step is reducing the solid chunks of fat into smaller pieces for rendering. This can be done by either dicing it into cubes with a knife or running it through a meat grinder. You are now ready to begin the rendering process. The next step is to place a large pot on the stove and fill the pot with a cup of water. The water will help prevent the fat from scalding and burning and will eventually evaporate away to leave you pure melted lard and cracklings. Add the ground up bear fat to your pot and turn on the stove top to a very low heat. Stay close during this process, occasionally stirring. You'll notice that within a few minutes the solid fat will begin to melt into a liquid. Continue to stir the fat as needed to prevent scalding. When the fat turns from a light pink to a golden amber color, it is ready to be strained. This will separate the pure liquid lard from the solid chunks of cracklings. I like to strain my lard through a standard kitchen strainer lined with a fine cheesecloth. Something like a coffee filter will not work as it gets clogged up very quickly. The pure liquid lard will flow through the strainer and collect in the container below. Make sure to press the cracklings to save as much of the lard as possible. The final step is to pour your liquid lard into a container for long-term storage. Here I use a wide-mouth canning jar with an airtight screw-on lid. I will store these jars of bear fat in the freezer to make sure it doesn't spoil. So here's our bear grease or bear lard. I'm going to use this in a lot of different recipes in cooking. I'm going to make some pies out of it, biscuits. I'm going to make pemmican out of this bear grease mixed with some other things. And I also use this to waterproof my primitive bows and in leather, making some leather. So it's a really useful thing to be able to get that grease from the bear. I try to use every part of the bear I can, or any animal that I harvest. And so stay tuned for some recipes with bear lard or bear grease.